I want you to think about a really specific moment in your life. You know, the walls are actively closing in, and you honestly don't know how you are going to, like, physically or mentally make it to the next day.
It's an incredibly isolating feeling.
It really is.
Yeah.
But now I want you to think about the exact second you picked up the phone, called your best friend, and heard their voice on the other end of the line.
Yeah, that shift.
Think about how a single conversation, maybe even just a few words from someone who truly knows you, pulled you right back from the edge.
It is arguably one of the most universal human experiences we have, honestly.
Absolutely.
That invisible tethered to another person, the knowledge that you are seen, and valued by someone outside of yourself. Sometimes that is the absolute only thing that keeps us grounded when the internal architecture starts to collapse.
And that profound, invisible tether is exactly what we are focusing on today. Welcome to the deep dive.
Glad to be here for this one. It's a really unique topic.
It is, for a project called the Sacred Archives.
Sacred Archives.
Right. Our mission today is to unpack how one woman took that exact hyper-personal experience of hitting rock bottom and relying on a friend and somehow reverse-engineered it into a highly structured, deeply emotionally resonant philanthropic engine.
Which makes for just a fascinating case study in behavioral psychology and community building.
Yeah.
At its core, the Sacred Archives is a physical collaboration book. The stated goal in these materials is to raise $45,000 for Halton Women's Place.
Right, which is a shelter that supports women who are leaving unsafe homes.
Exactly. And they are achieving this funding by collecting and publishing love letters between 75 pairs of best friends.
And the layout is, it's entirely based on facing pages. It operates almost like a mirror.
Yeah, it's a very intentional design.
If you and I were participating, you'd open the book to our spread. On the left page, there is a photograph of me alongside a 200-word love letter that I wrote directly to you, celebrating our friendship.
And on the opposite page, the right side, there's a photograph of me accompanied by my 200-word letter to you.
Right.
But the element that elevates this concept from a private keepsake, like a sort of curated yearbook between two friends, into a powerful philanthropic tool is the secondary requirement.
This is the part that really got me.
Yeah, below those personal letters, each woman is also required to write a separate 100-word message of encouragement.
Wow.
And that specific message is not for their friend. It is directed at a total stranger. A woman experiencing what the project materials beautifully refer to as a dark night of the soul.
A dark night of the soul. I mean, the phrasing alone carries so much weight.
It really does.
Reading through the breakdown, I kept thinking this book is a dual-layered time capsule. The top layer is this highly curated, incredibly private celebration of an existing bond.
Right.
But the foundation of the page is a public lifeline thrown out into the dark, hoping someone catches it.
The psychological contrast there is doing something remarkable for the end user. Consider the reality of a woman arriving at a shelter like Halton Women's Place.
It's a terrifying transition.
Exactly. The physical act of leaving an unsafe home usually dictates that she leaves behind absolutely everything that defines her daily reality. She leaves her belongings, her routines, her neighborhood. She loses her entire sense of environmental and emotional stability. She is stepping into a sensory and psychological void.
She is essentially in free fall, She has agency, but no anchor.
And this book is engineered to serve as a literal physical anchor to counter that specific loss. When a resident opens this book, she will, quote, meet 150 women standing beside her.
150 women.
Right. These are women she may never meet in person, but who have documented in print that they are quietly rooting for her survival and success.
And it crystallizes it into a heavy bound artifact she can actually hold in her hands when she feels entirely alone in a room.
It's powerful.
But a mechanism this hyper-specific, something that bridges a private friendship with public trauma support,
Yeah.
it doesn't just materialize out of nowhere.
No, definitely not.
We really have to look at the creator, Amy Bell.
Her background is the necessary context for how this was executed, for sure. So she has 30 years of experience in design, writing, and publishing.
30 years?
Yeah, and 22 of those years were spent deep in the corporate world.
So she has the technical chops.
Right.
She knows the literal mechanics of how to put a book together, format it, and push it to print.
She has the operational skills, but she also has the entrepreneurial scars. In 2017, she took a massive leap and left that corporate stability to start her own boutique branding and publishing agency.
But what was the actual match that lit the Sacred Archives fire? Because it wasn't just a gradual realization.
No, the catalyst arrived during the ramp-up to the 2025 gala. Amy was in the thick of preparing all the marketing material, and one evening she experienced what the source text describes as a meltdown of monumental proportions.
And so she picked up the phone and called her best friend.
She called her best friend.
Mm.
And the friend simply listened, held space for the panic, reassured her, and helped her find her footing again.
Like a good best friend does.
Exactly. It was in the quiet aftermath of that phone call that the epiphany struck. She was reflecting on the sheer power of having someone who intimately knows your flaws and still believes in your capability.
Yeah.
And then the pivotal question emerged for her: what about the women who don't have someone to call?
Her mind went directly to the women arriving at Halton Women's Place.
It did. She realized she could fuse the profound private gratitude she felt for her best friend with her public mandate to raise funds for women facing unimaginable hardship. That realization was the absolute genesis of the Sacred Archives. Look closely at the official subtitle of the Sacred Archives book. It says, "Notes of Devotion to the Ones Who Saved Us and the Ones Still Finding Their Way."
The ones who saved us. It explicitly names the donors as people who needed saving.
Exactly. By cementing that concept right on the cover.
It transforms the message from, I am better positioned than you, so I will help you, to we are both navigating the dark, and someone held my hand, so now I am going to hold yours.
The design, authoring, and print coordination time is entirely donated by White Lightning Communications.
Oh, right, the donated overhead.
Because that overhead is covered, it means the friction of that $300 donation directly serves the physical printing and the cause itself.
The entry fee is a tax-deductible donation of $300 per person, meaning $600 per best friend pair.
Right. There is one rule in the materials that stands out above the rest regarding those letters.
The secrecy rule.
Yes.
In all caps, the instructions explicitly state, and I'm quoting here, try not to send a copy of your notes to one another. Let's allow each person in the book to be surprised at the book launch.
It's such a unique requirement.
You are strictly forbidden from showing your best friend this deeply emotional letter you just wrote about them until the book is physically published. It turns the act of giving into a prolonged state of delayed gratification.
And that delayed gratification is the secret engine of the project. That amount of friction requires deep, sustained emotional investment. You aren't just tossing $20 at a crowdfunding link and forgetting about it by the time you close the tab.
Right, you're locked in.
By the time this book goes to print, you have spent months anticipating the reveal. You are fundamentally emotionally bonded to the existence of this book, and by extension, you are permanently bonded to the cause of Halton Women's Place.
Wow. It changes the entire paradigm from a financial transaction into a personal transformation, which brings us to the culmination of all this effort. The materials point to this massive crescendo. 2026 Wallet to Wealth Gala, November 13th, 2026, at the Oakville Conference Center.
Grounding an ethereal, highly emotional project in physical reality is vital for closure.
Because without it, it just sort of floats away.
Exactly. It takes these heavy concepts, fleeing unsafe homes, dark nights of the soul, deep vulnerability, and anchors them in a physical room. It proves that the community isn't just a concept in a book.
Amy Bell didn't invent a new software or discover a new behavioral trick. She simply took her existing 30-year professional expertise in publishing and smashed it together with a hyper-engaged micro-community she found during lockdown.
Yeah.
This blueprint proves that if you merge what you are already technically good at with a community that actually cares, you can manufacture massive, tangible impact anywhere.
It demonstrates that true impact exists at the exact intersection of professional rigor, community support, and raw, unfiltered personal vulnerability.
Perfectly said.
It takes the whispered private intimacy of saying, "I've got you," between two friends, and scales it into a published physical shield for a woman who desperately needs to know she isn't invisible.